Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
Of course, for every development, there could be a downside. And in the case of AI, there will be downsides, because then it means that, the ancillary health staff will have to be smaller and all of that. And people will say, already the Gambia is grappling with unemployment. Unemployment is a huge headache for the government. So it might look at, what AI might cost certain workers and say, well, that's definitely a disincentive.
Then we'll be stuck in the mud whilst everyone. So it sounds like, the term computer, it didn't originally mean a digital machine. It meant a woman who does calculations.
Oh, really?
Because during the war, during the World War, all the men went to war, but the women did it. So they needed someone to do all the really complex math calculations that went into like launching missiles and anti-aircraft guns and all of that. Oh. Yeah, so they would hire the women who would come, and they were called computers, so they just sat all day doing mathematical equations and feeding them into. This was before the digital computer was invented. So the digital computer was invented. Instead of hiring 100 women and paying them monthly, you have one machine that does everything they can do in a month in like 5 seconds. Now imagine at that time if the government of the US or the UK had said, well, if we start using this digital computer, 50,000 women are going to lose their jobs. So we can't do that. We can't and Germany would have won the war. So, because they would have continued using digital computers. But I'm definitely sensitive to the problem, which is a worldwide one, of AI replacing people's jobs, which is inevitable, especially things like secretarial jobs, translation jobs, etc. But first of all, just like with computers removed some jobs, but they created new kinds of jobs. For example, my job couldn't exist before computers.
True.
The same with, I dare say, even yours, because you need all of this setup.
It's a lot easier now.
It's a lot easier now than
if it was the old system, you would find more personnel in the studio. Exactly. I could not have just been here alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody else would be, operating technically. Somebody else will be checking that people are,
checking
and so
that
on
everything.
and so forth. Yeah.
And you're not saying, I'm not going to upgrade because those people are going to lose their jobs. So that's the way it
the
works.
job is a lot better now.
It's a lot better now. So it might shut off some, just like we don't have people who clean up after horses on the road anymore because we moved to cars. So those people had to go. Now, I don't want to sound insensitive because a lot of people just go, well, they can go learn programming. That is not, that is not a feasible option. So AI is not just a technical problem. It's a societal one, even in the West. So this is a problem that everyone is grappling with right now. And there are a couple of models that have come up in an attempt to, and one of them is UBI, Universal Basic Income, where everyone gets a fixed amount in the country as long as you're a citizen. That gives you at least food, shelter, and clothing. Then if you want anything more than that, you go get a job. But that will make sure that everyone in the country at least has something to eat, somewhere to sleep, something to wear. And that gets paid off from the prosperity that AI produces for us. Because it's going to create a lot of value, a lot of money. So we can then invest in UBI and also invest in the retraining programs for those who can retrain. So those are some of the ideas. There's a bunch of them. There'll also have to be mass government retraining. We'll have to do, because if we cut down our government to 1/3 of its size, And I think the government is probably the largest employer in the country, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that will be a lot of people out of jobs. So that's something we have to plan for as well. Yeah,
absolutely. You're also a voice for and in change, right? Voice for change, voice in change. Because you write. Your opinion pieces, have appeared in the Standard and other, online news outlets. Before, you go into, what motivates you to write, I mean, you flagged up the back way, much earlier on in the conversation and wanted us to come to it. All right? In terms of this, constant and consistent outflow of young people, boys as young as girls. Now we have our girls, going to Saudi Arabia as part of a more organized, exit, if you like, through the Ministry of Trade. I mean, how can we stem this, do you think?
That's a difficult one.
This backway syndrome, if you like.
That's a difficult one because it's been around for a while, though it seems like it's gotten worse lately. Usually people try to escape out of a sense of hopelessness and a sense of desperation. Because what happens is they see, like in Banjul, you have this Nongo you used to hang out with, and then he took the back way. Now, you don't really know about the journey itself and what happened. You just sit, and a year later, he's built his mom a tar. He sent his mom to Mecca. Now, you have your mom and your whole family looking at you, saying,
meanwhile, you're in the Negi Kirin.
You're in the Negi Kirin, they're cooking you, and every day you can barely afford, So, the way the society looks at you, it's like, yo, nyaka jump. Like, you should have done the same thing.
Nyaka jump is one thing. Nyaka njering.
Nyaka njering is another one, exactly. So, you could have taken the same route and just nyefe. And like I said, that's potential loss for the country. Even if you don't die on the way, that's the opportunity cost for us is really huge. But I find that once people go out there, once the youths go out there, reality hits them, reality punches them, and they see that, okay, it might have been better if I just stayed home and worked. So the way to end it is to end it before they leave. Now, I see that the government has been making physical efforts to do that by sending out patrol boats to arrest people and stuff. But we need to get to them before they get on the boats. And the way to do that is to give them hope again in Gambia, to make them believe that actually I can stay here, I can work hard, and I can still take care of my mom and parents and stuff.
Well, they do that. At least verbally. I mean, government is always saying we have created these opportunities, we have these DVET centers and all of that. Go learn a skill and all of that.
Yeah, not just in terms of government, though. I feel like this is a societal way of looking at things. We still think of it as you have to go out per teki, basically. And it doesn't really help when privileged people like me are just like, whilst we're sitting outside there enjoying our lives, because what are you telling them? Come on. So it will take more than that. It will take more than just a rhetoric to get them. This is changing the way we view the world completely. We have to be able to stop. We have to be able to stop seeing Tubab lands like as Babylon, basically. So to do that, we have to equip them with the skills necessary, and that starts with education. Because we can have a 5% pass rate. I think that was the last one, right? And then you expect those 95% who are completely uneducated, they can't get a job you expect them to just sit and then tell them, oh, go out there, find a job. Jobs are around. That's 95% of our high school graduates. So I think that's where we need to start. Because we keep trying to diagnose
What do we do with this 95%?
Yeah, so shall we do AI in education now?
We're going back to AI in education. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So right now, the main issue with our education system, especially the public one, is the automatic promotion. So the person who
I think they call it continuous assessment.
Yeah.
During my day, you stopped at primary 6 and did a common entrance.
They still have the common entrance, right?
I don't think they do. No. Now you do basic 9 years.
Oh no, and I was so proud of my score. Now I can show it off. Now I can show it off. But yeah, so what happens is the student who passed with 50% gets promoted with the student who passed with 60, with the student who passed with 100. So the student who passed with 100 has mastered the whole material. So when they go to the next stage, it's easier for them to. But the person who passed with just 55%, they don't know everything they need to know for the next stage. So that misunderstanding then compounds as they go up until they reach a point where only 5% of them pass. So what we need instead is mastery education.
Mastery?
Yes, where everyone has to reach 100% in a certain grade before they move on to the next grade. But we have problems right now.
You're not saying that's an impossibility?
No.
100% in everything?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So right now we're very, very severely constrained by things like class sizes, the number of teachers we have. Our teachers are overworked, they're underpaid, I guess just like everywhere. But now with AI systems, it makes that a lot easier because you can build agents, AI agents. So let's start with the teacher side. So apart from teaching the actual students, which is their job, there's a lot of overhead involved in like creating exams, tests, homework, and then marking them when they come back, like all of that, which is not part of the main job, but you need to do because you need it to assess your students.
Sure.
Now, with an AI student, with an AI teacher agent, and everything I'm talking about right now is possible. It's working. It's built, right? So with an AI teacher agent, what happens is the AI automatically creates tests, exams, and homework from the learning material, and it customizes it to each student. So no student will get the same questions. Instead, it knows how well each student is doing in each area, so it stresses the areas that you're having issues with. So that's the first thing. And then once they come back in, the AI then does the marking and all of that and just sends it to the teacher to confirm. So now you have removed that whole overhead of having to take care of all of that. And then when you're going to teach, the AI creates a whole study plan for you based on the syllabus and again based on how your students are doing in each area. So it creates that, and it's not just textual, it's also audio-visual. So like I said before, books are not the only medium. So it includes like YouTube videos, online exercises, and all of that. And then it breaks it down, so when you go to the class, you just follow through that. So you can see that the students get to like focus on teaching the actual kids, and they have the material they need, and you can make class sizes smaller as well in that regard because teachers will have more time to go around. So that's on the teacher side. And then the students also have their own AI agent that gets registered when you start school, and then that follows you just like the health record. It follows you for the rest of your thing. So it knows everything about you. It knows all your grades. So it acts as a study teacher, one that's always available 24/7 and knows everything about everything that you have covered, you haven't covered. It also learns your learning style because some people learn better visually, some audio, some kinesthetic, some reading. So it figures that over time, and then it changes the material to make it align with that learning style. So you'll cover it quicker. So, because right now we have visual learners that we force into textual learning, which is not going to work because their brains just don't work that way. Yeah. So the AI understands that and then customizes your interactions and the class and the lessons it gives you to play on your weaknesses because it knows what you understand fully.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it acts as a study teacher. That's available 24/7. It acts as a language tutor. And not just one who'll stand in front of the class and tell you, one that will actually have a conversation with you. And what happens is, for example, with French, it starts off very basic, and as it notices that you're getting better, the language it uses goes up as well.
Wow.
And it can translate in real time. And this is speech. You're talking to it, it's talking back to you. So this exists for all the major languages. So English, Spanish, French, Russian, Afrikaans. So you could learn all of these languages or any of them. And it's like, because the best way to learn a language is immersion. So which you usually get by living in that country or culture. But the AI can give you that experience. It will also act as a career guidance counselor, which is something we just don't have here, especially in our public schools. But because it's seeing your interests as you go and the things you are more into and stuff, it can start nudging you. So, for example, it realizes that you're into automobiles, you really like cars. So it can start pushing you towards a mechanical engineering degree.
Oh, wow.
It can tell you which classes you need to do well in to get that degree. It will share videos, it will share, audio, like anything to just keep you going. So you have career guidance counseling, you have the language tutor, you have the study teacher, and you just have a general assistant. In fact, I have a system with my company that does this, by the way. It's called Ada School. It's named after my daughter. So it can do all of this. And then there's a mental health check. I guess we'll come to mental health later.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's something that's not really focused on in our schools. And even things like dyslexia, for example, we have a lot of that, and people just call them stupid. And yeah,
True.
Yeah, but the AI, it has even things like special fonts that are made for dyslexic people, so they can read. And also, since it supports like audio, it can work for the visually impaired kids just as well. And all the other kids with for example, kids that have lost their hearing can use, it will do transcripts for them.
You are opening our eyes to a lot of possibilities
so
of AI that some of us probably never
can
imagined.
Really change things here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I was going to say, the Wolof was saying, "Liduf ci nag bi yeb heju ci cin bi." So let me take a few comments for you, including one from actually a minister who is listening to this, and we actually flagged his ministry. This is coming from Shirif Samsudin Sar, very active on social media.
He's a friend of mine.
Very active on yeah. He says, Peter, listening to Mr. Gaye speak live with the depth of experience, clarity of thought, and mastery of digital systems he demonstrated, left no doubt in my mind that any government serious about revitalizing its governance structures would have snapped him up without hesitation. We cannot keep paying lip service to reform while sidelining experts who embody the very transformation we claim to seek. A digital economy and a coherent digital policy are no longer optional. They are imperative. Beyond modernizing the public sector, digitization is a powerful antidote to the corruption, inefficiency, and bureaucratic waste that have long plagued our system. Here is a man not only equipped with the technical know-how, but also graciously offering his services to the country pro bono. That's patriotism in its purest form. Yet in the Gambia I know, where resistance to innovation often trumps reason, his willingness and dual citizenship may sadly be used against him, not as a mark of added global perspective, but as a disqualifier. May God help us recognize value when we see it, and may we be wise enough to embrace it before it's lost to nations that do.
That's very kind.
If you felt unwanted here and Senegal came knocking, would you cross that line?
Oh no. Everything all the pro bono stuff is for Gambia specifically. I feel like I owe her everything, and she doesn't owe me anything. So I'm just doing what I can. Like I think Obama said in his book, "Nothing you do will ever be enough, but try anyway." So I'm just trying.
And this is from Minister Ibrahim Asila, the Minister of Transport Works and Infrastructure. Earlier on, I made a joke about Barrow and his infrastructure policy. What an interesting conversation, Peter, says Ibrahim Asila. I'm just imagining an era when surveyors could rely on AI to conduct detailed feasibility and design studies for accelerated road and other infrastructure development projects. That would save us a fortune. Talk to me, a bit more about this. I mean, here's the minister imagining all right? But you're saying this is not science fiction. This is reality.
It's possible, because even the drones can take pictures of the whole Gambia in far more detail than we have from like Google Maps and stuff. So the government could do a mapping project where they map out the whole of the Gambia, the land we have, because that's another problem that we have. In Canada, the place I was explaining, they got to start fresh, but we can't start fresh because we have all of these things in place. So for the surveying part, drones would be perfect for that. they would feed everything back into the AI, and the AI can actually make recommendations on what to move around, where to place roads, and then even beyond that, maintenance is also another problem here. So that's another thing. You could, for example, send out a drone to take a picture of all the bridges in the country, and the pictures would be high quality enough to then feed into an AI system, and the AI system will be able to tell us the exact maintenance steps to take, what's wrong with these particular bridges, how much we need to order materials and resources, and so on. And then I think we also have issues with property ownership databases. I think last time I checked, it was all paper forms and paper. So they had a lot of problems with multiple ownerships of the same building. That would end up in court. It cost the government a lot. So we can get rid of all of that, again, with AI. Once we scan all of that, AI will be able to go through and be able to tell us where these conflicts occur, and then help us to resolve them. So that's another thing that it could help us with. So we're limited by imagination, basically.
And the minister is imagining. Only imagining.
So that's what we need. So get in touch so we can change the imagining.
Well, if you'd like to meet him, I can arrange a meeting.
Yes, please.
I can arrange a meeting. Here's a message from North America, +1, you never know whether it's Canada or the US. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask Amran to inform Gambian listeners that the human computers were mostly black women.
There you go. So it was okay. That makes sense. I think they even made a movie about it. Hidden Figures. Yeah, I think that was about that. So there you go. Yeah.
This is a question. What kind of AI-related skills should our young people start learning now to stay relevant in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's the syllabus I have. That's what I need the Ministry of Education to come in, but I have all the material necessary to move us in that direction. Because even if they don't grow up to be software developers or whatever, right now AI is important in every single career. So what's going to happen is AI is not going to replace people. It's going to replace people who don't use AI. So whatever subject you're using, whatever
I better start using AI.
You have to. We'll get
before somebody using AI replaces.
We get Peter AI. Because one thing I do actually right now, I don't know if you've listened to my daily Gambian News Summary podcast.
I was going to ask you to talk about your podcasting.
Yeah,
this is an opportunity. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I built an AI system that just what you did this morning, where you're getting all the headlines from the different papers, it gets them and then it analyzes them and it makes them into a 10-minute podcast breakdown of everything that happened in the news. So I built it, and all of that happens with just one click.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine, yes, if you don't do AI, someone will build. And they can do voice clones now too. I guess we'll talk about that later when we come to the dangers.
I don't think we have time. Maybe
we'll have time.
On your second visit.
I don't like talking about just the benefits and not look at the dangers as well, because that gives a false
that creates an opportunity to come back again. Good morning, Peter. Amran is a star who has done so much to improve computer literacy in the Gambia. Can you please ask him about the state of cybersecurity in the Gambia, especially in the light of the reported cyber attacks on the central bank?
Yeah, that's sorry to say, but cybersecurity is horrible over here. And we are...
It's that bad to be described as horrible.
It's horrible, because we're constantly getting... I've worked at a few ISPs. We had Chinese hackers, at least from Chinese IP addresses, hitting our servers 10 times a minute. Because they write programs that do that for them automatically. There's no human sitting there.
Why would they be hitting at us?
Because once they get into a server, they can then use that server as part of their botnet. So they can use it to send out spam. They can use it for crypto mining. Identity theft, all these scams and stuff. So they hack into as many computers as they can and then use them combined. So you might be using your computer and not even know what's going on in the background.
Well, I'm sure they're hitting me every day
without
my knowledge.
They hit everyone. So, and unfortunately, we don't take cybersecurity seriously here until after the hack happens. So just to cut it short, I think it would be very, very good if maybe the government passed some kind of cybersecurity law that forces all major organizations and government departments to do cybersecurity audits every year with independent auditors. So I think just that alone would really raise our defenses. But yes, we need to train more cybersecurity people in the country because it's going to be an even bigger problem once we start using these AI systems.
Very good. Yeah. Let's talk about your podcasting. So what do you aim to achieve with it?
Eventually, I want to build a whole AI podcast network, so we don't need humans anymore. Except you. I'll make an exception for you. I'll make an exception for you. So, but no, right now, they actually have AI systems that I could give just one episode of your show, and it can create a voice clone of you that can say anything I want, basically. So not that I'm gonna do it. I'm just saying it's possible. Yeah. So actually, since we are running out of time,
yes,
I'd like to talk more about the misinformation part.
Please do.
Yes, because what I just said, they can do it with video too. So imagine if someone took a video of like the president, used AI to make it do something that would just light the country on fire, or did the same with an opposition and have them like planning a coup. You can hear their voice, you can hear them talking, but it's all AI. And the problem we have right now is that people here believe everything they see, especially on WhatsApp. So I'm extremely worried about, especially this upcoming elections. It's going to, because I've already started seeing some deepfakes of the Senegalese president, for example. I think there was one of
Jomai Faye?
Yeah, I think there was one of Sonko speaking English, and it looked real. It was like
I think the best example is this guy in Burkina Faso.
Oh my God! He's the master of propaganda in Africa right now. I don't know who's helping him.
There's nothing he can't do.
Yeah. If you look at the list, it's like the best leader ever. But that's another topic. Yeah. So,
about deepfakes and the upcoming 2026 elections here in the Gambia.
And even things like, for example, you could have the president concede in a speech when he didn't actually concede. It's an AI video. Wow. And imagine, until the opposition sees it, they come out, they declare victory. Now you have you have a problem in the country.
And then the IEC comes and says, actually, that wasn't official.
Exactly. And then by the time, like they said, the lie can go around the world in the time the truth takes to tie its boots. So before they deny that, it will go. So we need to mitigate that by educating Gambians about deepfakes, by tracking them and making sure they don't spread, by making sure our news organizations don't repeat them and further amplify them, and all of that. And again, government has to be central to that. But apart from our democracy, for example, a couple of weeks ago, some woman in America, she got a call from her grandson saying he is in India, he was crying, he was about to get sent to jail, and she had to send money right away. So she hung up and left the house. Luckily, before she got to the back, the guy's sister called. So she told him that story. It's like, what? I just spoke to him. He's at his office. He's working. So it turned out someone in India had cloned the voice and then could make it say anything. So imagine that happened in Gambia. That man would have sent the money.
Now you scare me. I think I should
quit
this job because my voice is all over the place.
No, you're good. But you should be scared. I want people to be scared because this is going to be a huge... Imagine being able to make anyone say anything, basically. That's what you're getting. Imagine the possibilities and then also imagine the issues that could arise from that. So I guess we'll talk more about that next time. Well, but that's a whole...
This is so... we have another, 5 minutes. We need to talk about it, particularly, in light of how this might, come to play in 2026. Everything that's happening now is with a view to, 2026. What we need to start looking out for. Right now, we are concentrating on inter-party squabbles and all of that.
Exactly. And these things, you don't need to be technical. For the voice cloning, you can pay $30 a month on a website and get it done by just dragging and dropping. So it's not something where there's a technical barrier. Like
so we hear Barrow conceding, and you can actually, prove whether this is real or not by just dragging that audio and putting it somewhere to prove whether it is...
no, as in when they create it, there's no real way to know whether this is true or not, because it's getting so much better.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a problem everywhere. Even in the U.S., even in the West, they're trying to fight against it.
They're grappling with it because now usually we hear, all these international news networks say, well, according to a video which we haven't confirmed yet.
But on WhatsApp, and there's a confirmation bias as well, because we just forward things that confirm the things we believe in. So we don't really check unless if it's something that we don't believe in, then we get suspicious.
So verification has suddenly become very
extremely important and also extremely difficult. That's the other thing, because this AI, even with ChatGPT, every time it creates something, is completely different. Yeah. So it's very hard.
I hope everything you told me about you was right.
But when you went again, no, the facts would stay the same, but the sentences, the way it says it, is different. So it's very hard to catch a plagiarist because of that. So that it's the same for like video, it's the same. So the only thing we can really do that helps is to educate our populace. And then I think government also with some kind of misinformation center. Unfortunately, whenever our government tries to do that, they get accused of censorship. So it's a very thin line that they have to walk. But yeah, I think we can have protection against misinformation attacks whilst leaving censorship out and leaving our people still able to report the news and do investigations and stuff. But we definitely need a central government information clearing house where things can go to and where people can go and double check on what's real and what's not. But yeah, sensitization, education, those are the only, defenses that can really help, especially as these things get better and better. Because I'm an AI practitioner and even I get fooled now. That's how good it is. So yeah, so you can imagine how hard it is.
Amran, this is only a first visit. Okay. Meaning I expect a second,
yeah, because we didn't cover mental health and all of that.
And that needs to be covered.
Yeah.
I'm going to end with a most unexpected question.
What's that?
Your name, Amran. I mean, it's uncommon in the Gambia.
Thankfully.
How many Amrans
it's lucky when I'm doing something good, but very unlucky when I land in trouble, because there's only one Amran Gaye. So it's like, I know an Imran, but I don't know.
Yeah, Imran I've heard. Yeah, but Amran, I mean, have you...
There was one other person, but I don't know if he's still alive even, because he was much older than me.
Were you named after him?
No, I was named after a sheriff from Morocco called Sheriff Muhammad Amran Gaye. Okay. Yeah, so my dad gave me all three, but I usually go with Amran.
Oh, you chose to go only with Amran?
Though people I went to school with will say Sheriff Gaye, so that's how you know. But yeah, I go with Amran now.
Yeah, listen, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
The minister has asked for your contact. I'll give it to you straight after. I'm sure he's... not going to be the only minister interested in
I hope education reaches out. I hope National Archives, I'm ready to, like I said, it's all pro bono. I'm not expecting to make anything from it. I'm ready to help.
Borough administration, the man is putting his services, at your disposal. FOC, free of charge, so take advantage.
Though Uncle Sol, I'm sure Muma has stuff. But buy free. Buy if you free.
Shalamahoni.
Uncle Sol, no, Uncle Sol.
Oh, okay. Sol Mega. Okay. Well.
And hello, Uncle Sol.
Amran, thanks again. All right, that's it for now. We'll be back tomorrow, and we will close out our politics-free week with... a conversation on the USED, the University of Science, Engineering and Technology, which President Barrow will officially inaugurate on Saturday. So we'll have a delegation talking about that. But don't forget, later today on West Coast Radio 195.3, Pinchami, with my co-presenter, Sheriff Jangha. We're going to be talking about migration. I mean, is it worth the trouble that these boys and girls take, on the back way? So come and join us then. You'll be able to phone in and share your opinion, because for us, every opinion matters. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back here tomorrow.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suwaid.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
This will be fine. Busel mu fine. Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Busel mu fine. Wave. Your money is yours.